Am I the a-hole for not helping my half-sister? Plus updates. Original post. My half-sister and I have no real relationship. For background, my dad divorced our mother when I was 5 and half-sister was still 4, going on 5. Half-sister was the product of my mother's affair and born exactly 9 months after me. My dad stayed with my mother up until I, at 5, told him about the man my mother kept bringing over when he wasn't home. That would be half-sister's father. My dad gave my mother the house in exchange for removing his name from half-sister's birth certificate. He paid her child support for me up until I was 8 and my mother abandoned me during her week because her affair partner didn't want to take a child that wasn't his to visit his family for the holidays anymore. And half-sister pretty much hated me because her grandpa supposedly liked me better. Dad tried to be civil and make sure I had a relationship with half-sister after that. But I didn't want anything to do with her either, so I never spent time with her after that. Half-sister would say she didn't have a sister, so I never claimed her. The day I made my account, half-sister called me. I didn't know how she got my number, but she was sobbing about our mom kicking her out of the house and not wanting anything to do with her, now that she's married to some random guy. Don't know who he is. I just hung up on her, to be honest, and she started texting me that she really needs her sister's help. She says she has nowhere else to go. Her father cut contact a while ago and no one is willing to come up to get her. She lives 6 hours away from where I live, which I guess is easy to figure as I live next door to my dad. I'm a bit torn because when she called again, I told her we're not actually sisters, and I'm not coming to get her, nor am I giving her a place to stay until she's back on her feet. Then I hung up again. I blocked her number, but she's been calling me from other numbers. And now I have people from my mother's family telling me I'm an awful sister, and I should be more understanding because I was once a child that got kicked out. I just need some insight, because I want to know if I'm in the wrong or if I should have gone about it differently. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Tell those people that they should take her in if it matters that much to them. Just look at all the people that care enough to call you and tell you to help her out. They can help her. They're homeless shelters. She could work and pay her own bills. She could join the military and love barrack life. See, there are many options. Not the a-hole. Your mother's family has a lot of nerve. Are any of them stepping forward to help your half-sister out? Ultimately, you don't owe her anything due to some shared genetics. At the same time, do you want to act the same way she did? I'd definitely be cautious bringing someone into my home that I didn't trust enough to not rob me blind, etc. You know her better than we do. If you do decide to be the change you would like to see in the world, just be certain to lay out all of the possible ground rules ahead of time. That's my main question, the act the same way she did part. Had this been a few years earlier, I would have helped her. I think, when we were kids, I'm pretty sure she was just parroting whatever her parents were saying. But we're both 25 now, and I don't get why after 17 years, I'm the one she comes running to. I don't think I should have said what I said when she was already so emotional, but I just don't get it. No one is helping her as far as I know. Most of the people calling/texting are people I don't have a relationship with. My grandma claims she has a full house right now, and since I technically live alone, she thinks I should help half-sister out. But she's saying that because of the whole family helps family mindset. I don't know her all that well anymore either. She's as much of a stranger to me now as she is to you. I just want to know what others would do in my place. That's a fair question. What would others do in your place? That answer will run the gamut. I tend to go with my gut. If it had been 17 years since I've talked to this person, I'm not sure what I'd do, because they probably feel like a near stranger off the street calling you. Your grandmother saying she's got a full house sounds like a load of bull, unless she's quantifying that by saying she has 16 people living in her 3-bedroom house currently. If there's one thing I learned growing up without much money, there's almost always room for a family. If you get any sense that your mother's family is just trying to get someone else to help her because they don't want to have to deal with her, then that could be a warning sign. You've raised questions I hadn't even thought about, to be honest. All of them says they can't help her for whatever reason, and I have no idea how many people are staying with my grandma. She has a 4-bedroom place, but I haven't visited her in a few years, to be honest, and I don't talk to her all that much. No one seems willing to help her, and the more I think about certain things, the distance, does she have a history with drugs, does she even work, the more I'm certain I'm not willing to help her, regardless of blood. Now for the first update. 4 days ago, I made my account and contemplated asking if I was an a-hole for something. My half-sister called me crying, saying our mother kicked her out and she really needs her sister. I hung up the first time, and when she kept calling and texting, I told her we're not actually sisters, and I wasn't driving 6 hours to pick her up, nor letting her stay with me. I've been getting non-stop texts and calls from my maternal family since then. My maternal grandmother, the only person I stayed in any contact with, pretty much begged me to be a good sister and let half-sister stay with me. She told half-sister I have my own house, gave her my number, etc. I've blocked my grandmother and everyone saying that I should be understanding because we've both been abandoned by our mother. It isn't the same. I told my grandmother this, but no one seems willing to acknowledge that. Dad tried to keep it civil so I could have a relationship with half-sister, but she was a mini affair partner and never viewed me as a sister. I didn't like being around her, so my dad never forced me to. Biomom, affair partner and half-sister, moved not long after this. Biomom had been in childcare and lost her job because no one wants to hire you to watch their kids when you abandon yours in the middle of the night. I haven't seen half-sister in 17 years. I didn't know what she looked like until I came home today. She was sitting on my porch with a suitcase in a car, I think my grandmother's, pulled off as soon as I parked. I didn't get out of the car. I was too angry to even move, and I'm still angry right now. She kept saying she needs me and started crying, telling me that our mom was awful, her dad cut contact, and Biomom's new partner doesn't want her in his house. I live next door to my dad, so when half-sister started knocking on my car window after I just stared at her, I called him and told him what was going on and asked what I should do. Dad told me to stay in my car and call the cops. Said I had a trespasser, which I did. I didn't get out until the cops came, and when they did, half-sister told them I agreed to let her stay, and now I'm leaving her homeless. I just showed them the texts, specifically the only text I gave in response to everyone demanding I let her stay. No to you have the space, no to she's your sister, no to can she please stay with you. Nothing but refusals, before I blocked people. When half-sister kept saying we're sisters, I told the cops I haven't seen this woman in 17 years. I don't know her, I didn't even know what she looked like. We're not family beyond sharing an egg donor. I went as far as in blocking my grandmother and calling her. I didn't even get to speak. She said/yelled, "Look, Opie, I love you, but you need to get over this. She's family and she needs you, and I've told your father you'd go to hell if he raised you to be so damn selfish. And you definitely will, because she's going through the same thing you went through." She hung up right after, and I told the cops they can book half-sister or drop her at a shelter, I don't care. I just want her off my property. They took her and now I'm sitting here on my dad's couch wondering what the hell just happened. He doesn't want me staying alone right now in case they show back up. I'm so mad right now. I don't get it. 17 damn years of no contact. I only speak to my grandmother on holidays. I don't know most of the aunts and uncles and cousins that blew up my phone. But because Biomom pushed me out, I have to do what they tell me to? I'm 25 years old. I've only had my dad and my paternal family for years. Biomom and her family haven't done crap for me. None of them even know when my damn birthday is, because even my grandmother texts me on the wrong day, not even a phone call. If half-sister needs help so badly, one of you should help her. I don't know her. I don't know any of you either. I'm not letting an entire stranger into my house. And 6 hours is too far to visit when I had surgery, but not too far to try and force me to do something? Yes, the maternal side of your family should be helping out here and taking her in. Not your responsibility. It's crazy how the maternal grandmother says the dad and Opie would go to hell for being selfish, but not a word on her own daughter/bio mother. I don't get why a fair partner doesn't even look after his own daughter. People in general seem to be generous with other people's homes, money, and time. I guess Opie can call grandma, "You are right, your daughter failed her. It is up to you to make this right." She's going through the same thing you went through. Yes, an 8-year-old child being abandoned by mother is the same as an adult in her 20s being cut off. Sure, grandma. And you know it would take some absolutely ridiculous behavior for that crappy side of the family to cut someone off. No chance I'd want this person in my house. May I say I love your shiny spine? What's likely happened is that half-sister is a real piece of work and no one who knows her will let her stay with them. The decision was that you wouldn't know what a big problem she was, and so you'd be the perfect sucker to take her in. Grandma couldn't give two figs about the Opie and half-sister's relationship. She just doesn't want to get stuck with the half-sister herself. Now for the second update. I checked the camera footage last night and this morning. Half-sister and Biomom's mother, Grandma, had been looking under mats, rocks, and potted plants, the mailbox, and checking the doors. Probably were looking for a spare key. I don't keep one on my property, and my dad, Grandma, and Grandpa have keys they keep with theirs. My uncle did an overhaul of mine and Dad's cameras. We now have ones that send notifications to our phones when motion is detected. I also got Ring doorbells for the front and back doors. There are other features and all the cameras are better hidden as well. I went to the police department while he was doing this and brought my grandpa with me. Half-sister was booked for trespassing but not held very long since my mom's mother picked her up from the station. They stuck to the lie of me offering half-sister a place to stay and gave statements. Not sure how that's going to go, but I'm taking steps to protect myself, my property, and my dad and his property. Half-sister doesn't have a record beyond this, so this was her first offense. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. It sounds awful, but I had hoped she would have at least one prior, because commenters make it seem like that would make the outcome of a permanent restraining order favorable. Bio Mom's mother does have a record though. Harassment, trespassing, and DV. I shared this with the police as well. Anyway, I was able to get a temporary restraining order today, so there's that. I gave the camera footage to the police alongside copies of the texts, printed out and on USB, gave a statement, and they called the judge to get the TRO issued. I talked with them about other things like self-defense recommendations, overhauling my security system, getting a gun for protection, and so on. I was really anxious and just kept talking because it finally hit me that these people know where I live, and they're willing to make the 6 hours to harass me and get inside my home. The texts and voice messages hasn't stopped. I unblocked and muted. They're direct and indirect threats. Bio Mom's mother is adamant that since I have an entire house to myself, a stable job and no children, I will be housing half-sister. Or should give me the ass whooping my dad should have. Half-sister has only left one voice message about coming over later today, and that she's staying with me because that's what blood does. They help. When there was no response, she sent me multiple texts telling me I need to be more understanding, that she's in a tough spot and that she's moving in for at least a week, until she's able to support herself. It's 7 days to gain tenancy here. Additional clarification for people asking about the age gap. I'm a February 1st baby. Half-sister is a November 29th baby. I say exactly 9 months because I'm not counting the weeks and days. Just felt that people knowing we're the same age was relevant and gave context to why I have no relationship with her. I don't know if she was premature and never asked to be honest, and there are people saying they have similar gaps around them, so I have nothing to add. Multiple people also ask if I hate half-sister and that I sound resentful for things she said as a child and for things her parents did. In my first post, I talked to someone in the comments that admitted that this has been a few years earlier. I may have helped half-sister without much thought. I know as children, she was just parroting her parents. I don't fault her for that, nor do I blame her for Bio Mom abandoning me. But it's been 17 years. We've been legal adults for 7 of those years. She could have reached out at any point, but didn't, and said she had no sister. I also could have reached out at any point, but also didn't. I just moved on with my life. I was in therapy since I was abandoned, and it took me years to move on from no one on that side actually wanting me. Now she's making herself a problem. Bio Mom's mother aside, half-sister was sitting on my porch with a suitcase ready to force herself into my home and life. She allowed herself to be driven 6 hours to my home, sat on my porch for half an hour, and then lied to the police all after I said no multiple times. She never claimed me until she needed something, and now she's forcing herself into my life on the basis of being family. I don't hate her. That's too much energy. But I do resent her now alongside her grandmother and the rest of her family. I was ignored for years, and now I feel unsafe in my own home just because half-sister and those around her can't take no for an answer. This isn't about Bio Mom's affair. This is about half-sister and her family ruining my safe space, my home, with their crap. The past is a factor in that resentment now because, again, I haven't spoken to her in 17 years. I didn't know what she looked like. But suddenly we're sisters because she needs some place to stay? I definitely resent that. Also, I feel validated in my choices. Posting to Reddit, asking for and taking advice, listening to my dad. The attorney I spoke to pretty much said all the same things commenters have. And blocking and muting to get evidence of harassment. Calling the cops and showing them the messages because it proves there was no implied invitation. This is apparently the biggest thing I had to worry about, because even letting half-sister stay on my porch could have worked against me. Giving the cops the camera footage of half-sister and Bio Mom's mother looking for a spare key was also a good move. Even going about upgrading security, getting self-defense items, and asking officers about self-defense recommendations and my wish to get a gun for protection works in my favor. It shows that even though this was half-sister's first offense, I don't feel safe and she's a major cause of that. And I don't. So thank you again for all the advice. If they show up like they said, I'm gonna set off my security system and call the cops. Edit from a comment. It wasn't active TRO when I posted the update because they hadn't been served yet. They were found at a hotel near my home and were served. A neighbor saw them and called the police. I was reporting the text though. The TRO is on both half-sister and Bio Mom's mother. They sound both entitled and unhinged. I'm starting to worry that they might become violent. Collect more evidence and protect yourself. Maybe get some extra locks and a big dog, a fence. And you owe them nothing. Don't listen to people saying that. They're users and abusers. And if they can, they will try to take over your house in any way possible. But I feel sorry for the baby who will end up with them as family. Yeah, even if OP had kept in touch for the past 17 years, this still doesn't entitle half-sister to live in their house. And why isn't Grandma housing her for 7 days? She doesn't have any friends she can couch surf with for 7 days? Why can't she go to a motel for 7 days? This was a meticulously planned invasion. They likely knew that 7 days established residency, as you mentioned. It's a 6-hour drive. Searching for a key and totally willingly to illegally enter your home ended threats of physical harm. Your maternal relatives are trash. I'm glad your dad is next door. I hope you get a permanent restraining order and they leave you alone. I'm sorry you're dealing with this crap. The 7 days plan is to gain tenancy rights. Half-sister knows the law and is trying to use it to squeeze OP into giving her long-term free housing. She's not doing all of this just for 7 days. Third update. Was going through the first messages sent to me and found one of the many I muted without reading. This is from a cousin of half-sister. Note, the order of the info was edited to be better understood. A lot was block of text, so I tried to put it in order. Affair partner cut contact with half-sister when she was 20. She covered Bio Mom's affair with Rando. Affair partner stopped paying her tuition and cut her off financially. Half-sister's work history is non-existent. She was kicked out by Bio Mom a month ago because she was sleeping with Rando and one of his sons. Said son turned 18 2 months ago. Half-sister came home to hers and Rando's things on the curb and all the locks changed. Police weren't involved. The cousin doesn't know if Bio Mom told the boy's mother, but she did tell the entire family. Essentially said, protect her kids in marriage. Half-sister claims she only slept with him on his birthday, but Bio Mom claims he was a minor when half-sister slept with him. The family's adamant about getting her somewhere safe to stay long-term, because half-sister is pregnant. No one likes her, but believe abandoning her is wrong due to her pregnancy. The cousin expresses doubt about the pregnancy. Half-sister showed her grandma a positive pregnancy test, but no one else has been given any proof. Half-sister has a history of lying. Half-sister couch surfed with those that don't have kids. So far, she's borrowed someone's car without permission, taken expensive items to pawn, taken money meant for interview clothes and travel, then blew it on expensive mom and baby outfits. When cops are involved, she lies, and has gotten someone arrested by claiming SA when they try to have her removed from their property. The plot to get half-sister into my house was the idea of an uncle, one of Grandma's 3 sons. Grandma apparently brags/complains about me being young with no kids, a well-paid job in a house I own. Essentially, this uncle said I had no responsibilities, disposable income, and plenty of room. Because no one wants to outright abandon a half-sister, this was the best plan. The cousin said don't give an inch, not even a ride to a shelter. Someone tried, and she caused a scene. Nearly got them arrested because she kept lying about the situation. Please read this. I read your 2 posts. Stay safe. Great job of the cousin filling in these outrageous blanks. Wow. OP should keep in touch with his cousin to see what else is coming. Surely they aren't done yet. Honestly, worry about your holiday plans. I wouldn't leave your house/travel for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And be ready for her to make a scene on one of those days and try to get into the house if you have guests. Or porch pirate your stuff. Stay safe, OP. We're rooting for you. Definitely preparing for that. I've read all of Camper Nomad's posts, and the potential lengths half-sister and grandmother may go is scary AF. My grandma, the real one, brought this up herself and suggested we just have it here. That way, if they pop up around holidays, all of us are present and ready for the BS. Thank you. Also check all the mail that comes to your house. They might try to claim residency by saying her mail is delivered to your house. Fourth update. No major updates today. Texts and calls have all stopped. My entire neighborhood is on alert, and the family rotation continues. One of my friends stayed last night, and a different friend agreed to stay tonight. Today will be spent with my aunt, the one with a keychain and fisticuff bracelet, and grandma. No one showed up at my house in the middle of the night. I'm following the advice of multiple people, the first being about making an FU binder. My aunt suggested making transcripts of all the saved voice messages, which I think is a pretty good addition to this to go along with a USB drive of them. So that'll be part of what I do today. The second piece of advice I have saved is about documenting every day, even if nothing happens, in a spiral notebook. I started on this immediately. We'll also be recording when I go to and from work, or anywhere to be honest. Also, multiple people and door screws. That was among the first things done when I bought the house. And my windows were all changed on purpose as well. They're impact windows, so it'll take a lot of effort to break them. My uncle has always been big on home safety, so he did all of that with me. Even though I'm next door to my dad and fairly close to the rest of my family, he always says I'm still a woman alone in a house. You can never be too safe. I feel a bit better with all the advice offered. If anyone is having similar trouble, take the advice offered in the comments. It really helped, and I'm grateful for all the help. Holiday vacations has officially been cancelled and refunded. Always invest in travel insurance. A lot of stories shared with me have me on edge about leaving my home unattended. My neighbors offered to watch my house, but I'd feel more comfortable being present if something happens. So this year, I'm gonna be hosting Thanksgiving and potentially Christmas. My grandma suggested this, and she's getting really into it. So today might also be shopping for decorations. Thank you guys again. Only thing paranoid me worries is that they'll use the Thanksgiving party either preparing for or a day off to gain entrance. Same here, is why my grandma's adamant about having it at my place, to be honest. That way, if anyone tries anything, my whole family's present. Happy and peaceful holidays. Glad you're safe, and keep us updated. You can get, pretty cheaply, a motion sensor that you set inside a house and connect to Wi-Fi and a phone app. Turn it on when you leave, and it'll alert you to motion. Most have sirens you can set off. The small ones are portable, so you can set them by the doors or in different rooms. Thank you. I have something similar to that, though it's part of an indoor camera system. I'm sorry that you have to be so vigilant just because of some entitled aka crazy family members. Would taking that whole mess that your cousin sent via text to the police help at all? If there was an investigation opened, she might find herself in extremely hot water. If anything comes from my talks with my cousin, I'll definitely make an update. Don't want to put out any info on it, since half-sister is apparently a lurker in my posts.